Hello, my name is Anne Egrude, Vine Cakes, Port Harcourt. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a colorful crackle effect on your cake. Crackle effect is not currently, it's not a very trending concept, though. Yes, it's been on for a while, but it's always beautiful, okay? And I have discovered that you can actually make it look even more pretty when you add some techniques and even make it more creative, okay? So in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how I make my colorful crackle effect. Now the name crackle just simply means that it is cracked. Now this particular crackle effect that I'm going to be teaching you is just my own way of making crackle effect more special and more attractive, okay? Now all you need for this project is your fondant. We are using white fondant, and then you need colors. This is my color palette with different colors in it. You need a paintbrush, you need your board, your cake board, a rolling pin, and that's all. Now for you to do a crackle effect on the cake, you need to know the size of the cake, you need to know the height, okay? That will help you know the quantity or the quantity of fondant to use. Now, to do a crackle, you don't need to roll your fondant very thin. You need to make it a bit thick, okay? It has to have some level of thickness because the crackle effect can only be achieved when you stretch your fondant. So therefore, if the fondant is too thin and you're trying to stretch it to have that cracking effect, you will be limited. And then if it's too thin, it also means that your fondant will likely dry so fast. Now you need it to be thick, not just because you want it to crack, but also not to get it dried inside. We just want the surface to be dry and not inside, okay? What I'm going to create is the top of our cake. So I'm going to roll in a circular motion direction. I'll need to dust my work surface with some icing sugar to prevent it from sticking. So I'm just rolling. This is going to be the one for the top. I'm going to be placing this on an 8-inch cake. Sorry, 6-inch cake. Can you see that? It's really thick. This way, I can have my surface dry out fast and not to the inside because it's thick. So that when I roll, I can still have my fondant a bit pliable to stretch. The more stretch you can achieve, the more your the more cracky effect you get, okay? All right, this is good. So I'm going to set this on the board and set it aside while I do the other parts. Remember, crackle effect is best when you're doing the paneling method, okay? Yeah, because if it's too dry and you want to do cover it from the top the normal way, it may not work. So you need to do the paneling method for you to achieve a good result. So I'm rolling out the parts, the rest part of the fondant for the body. We've done the top. This is going to be wrapped around our cake. So I already know the size of cake I'm working on. So precisely a dummy anyway. So I'm going to go, I am not going to roll this straight in a circle the way I did with the other one. I'm going to make this like a rectangle, okay? Remember not to overstretch. You want it thick so that when you start rolling it out, you will achieve a good crack. So this is okay. You can see the level of thickness. Can you see this? Still very thick. So I'm going to just set this outside. Remember to always dust your board so that it doesn't get stuck to it. Okay, dust your board, ensure that it's not sticking to the board. So the next thing we're going to do is to paint on our fondant. Okay, I'm using one paintbrush. I'm just cleaning, washing it off to make sure there's no color on it. I'm going to wipe it off. Okay, and the first color I'm working on is an orange color. I'm just going to stroke it just back and forth this way. I wash, get another color, and then I go this way. Okay, just be creative with it and bring it this way. I'm bringing this way. You can see how colorful it's looking already. Now this comes this way. It depends on you. You may want your colors to be very strong or very light. This is quite strong, so I'm going to clean it up a bit. So I'm bringing in black here. I'm going to apply a stronger shade of black. Okay. Okay, this is okay. So we have different blends of colors, just like this. You can see this looks pretty already. Now we are going to set this aside to dry. Suppose if it's something you want to use immediately, what you would need to do is to put it in your oven. Preheat your oven, turn it off, and then put this in the oven to get it dry faster. But if you're not in a haste to use it, you could just set it aside overnight, and the next morning it's ready to be cracked. Okay, so for the purpose of this class, we're going to make use of our oven. Okay, so we're going to preheat our oven to like 200 degrees. Make sure it is hot. Turn it off. Don't wait for the heat to vanish. Okay, while it is still hot, pop this in. Just set it on the rack. Set it on the rack, and allow the heat from the heat in the oven to dry up the surface. So we're going to repeat the same process on the second one, on the other parts. Okay. So like I said, your color depends on you. It depends on you. It's your choice. Okay. Colourful and brilliant. It looks very, very artistic. That's why it's different. That's why it's unique. That's why it's not like the regular kind of crackle effect that we are familiar with. going to still apply some black colors on it. Like I said, I love the black effect on it. Alright, we are done. This is ready. We are going to pop this into the oven and allow the surface to dry. Okay, so I'll be back to show you how to crack it. Okay, yeah, our fondant is out of the oven. As you can see, it's dry. I don't know, can you see what is happening already? It's cracking already. Can you see the crack on it? Yeah, it's beginning to crack so easily because it's dry. Now, if you want to put this on your cake, okay, you may need to roll this thing and lay it on a fondant, okay? Because this is, now that we have it dry, this may not go around your cake nicely. So you will need to roll fresh fondant. You don't need to crack that. Just roll it out, okay? And then you lay this on it so that you can easily place it on your cake. So I'm going to start cracking. Are you seeing what is happening? It's cracking so easily. Can you see it? Can you see the crack on it? Don't forget to apply some shortening or dust your work surface to prevent it from sticking. Now this would still cover very well on my cake because you can see the back. The back is still intact, okay? Now the back is not dry, the back is not cracking because my fondant was thick. So the whole effect is on the surface. So I'm going to continue. The more you stretch it out, the more crack you have. Now, if the crack depends on the rolling. If I roll this way, my crack will come out differently from when I roll this way. Can you see the difference? Okay? So it depends on what you want. You can crack in any direction, whether horizontally or vertically. Now, this can still stretch further. So it is at this point that you place it on your fondant that is wide enough, big enough to cover your cake. Okay, and then you continue stretching it further on it. This is simply amazing. You can see how beautiful this looks. Now, if you look at the back, it's still very okay. There's no crack happening behind it. Like I said, the reason was because our fondant was thick. The whole effect is on the surface. Do you understand? The whole effect happens on the surface. Now, if you want to apply this particular size of crackle on an 8-inch cake, it will still work. But the only way you can achieve that is to roll out a fondant wide enough that can cover your cake, but a bit thick, but not as thick as this was, okay? Not as thick as this was. And then you apply some water, just apply some water, not heavy, and then you place this on it, and then you continue stretching. You continue. This can still crack further. Just if you can see, it's still stretching. Okay, we are still able to stretch this out. So, but like I said, this was meant for a 6-inch cake. So at this point, I'm going to just roll it over. So I'm going to attach it. I had already applied some shortening on my journey. Okay. Okay. Yes. I'm going to use my craft knife to cut it open to cut off the excess. So this is just the normal paneling method. This works best when you with a crackle effect. So I'm going to bring out the inner part and then I join it neatly. Can you see the joining? Okay, this is nicely done. At this point, I'm going to trim off the extra on the top. I'm doing this with a craft knife. This piece can still work, so you may not need to trash it, just keep it somewhere. You can still do something creative with it. So I'm just trimming off the Alright, this looks good. Still tidying up the bottom parts. Okay, we're going to work on the top. This is also cracking on its own. Once it's dry, you don't have a problem. It will start cracking immediately. So you can see this. Okay. If I want my crackle to be tiny, I'll stretch it further. The more you stretch out, the more tiny the crackle becomes. You can see this. This is amazing. This is amazing. We are going to apply this on the top. This really looks wide, okay? So I'm going to just minimize it so that I can save a portion for something else. Remember, you can always use this for something creative at any point in time. It's a great artwork, so you can do a lot with it. A lot of creative work with it. So this is enough for the top. I'm going to use my smoother on it. Flip this over just the normal way and secure it properly. Now this allows you to still work easily, like you're working on a normal fondant. You can only be limited when your fondant is not is over dry, okay? So all you need to do to prevent it from drying out so much is to make sure your fondant is thick, so that it just gets dry on the surface and not inside, okay? I'm going to cut out the excess. So I'm going to flip this over, and here we are. twisting until I get a perfect edge. Okay. I know we all want our edges to be perfect, so you can still do that even when you have with this technique. Okay, this technique will not prevent you from having your sharp edge. So I'll just keep smoothing until I get that perfect finishing. Now don't be afraid to do to smoothing, okay? Nothing will happen to the effect you have created. That's the beauty of this particular technique that I have just shown you or taught you in this tutorial. It does not peel off, it does not dry out so badly that you can't work with it. As you can see, it's just responding. It's like you working with your normal fondant, and here we are. This looks good, right? So I'm going to keep this aside and use it for something more creative. Okay, so this is it. We are done with this piece of beauty. You can see how colorful, how awesome it looks. I hope you have learned something, and I hope that you would try it and show me what you have done. Share your results with me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of the tutorial. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe, and don't forget to always turn on your notification bell so that you can get notified as soon as I upload a new video.